Okay, and we are back, Sketch94, and just like the last time, I'm 10 minutes into it and realized like, oh, none of the sound from the sketch is actually going into OBS because I have the volume all the way down. It's just always something here. And sometimes, you know, it just get on a roll. Anyway, yeah, roll of mistakes. So we were doing kind of a Boards of Canada knockoff. I was just messing around the other day on the keys, and then you know, just this Boards of Canada really just blatant sounding ripoff melody came out. We'll go ahead and play that. So yeah, pretty straightforward Boards of Canada, you know, meandering around the same three sort of notes. And then we were going to get a beat going. I think I left it off as I was just about to filter this beat out a little bit. Let's get the kick down on C3. I like C3 as a good sort of starting point for the beats. Now we need that snare, and then of course we've got to get some swing. Now I'm hearing this kick going through that supermassive. We've got supermassive hanging out here, which is a pretty amazing freebie. If you don't already have this VST, definitely go out and get this free one. It can do so many amazing things. Just look in the presets. We've got a whole section of weird SFX. We've got a whole set of awesome reverbs. There's like a bunch of different algorithms in there. Some are good for other more delay type of things. Others are good for reverbs. Anyway, it's deep. It's free, cheap and deep. Yes. Okay, so back to the beat. That's getting there. It almost feels bad to hear something that in my mind sounds like such a blatant rip off. All right, let's get some hi-hats in there. See if we can play with some swing on that. Of course, I'm pretty sure Boards of Canada would never use a beat that sounds this generic. All right. And we could obviously just make our own swing. We could get some probability going on some of this. I think that could actually be pretty cool. Definitely need some probability on this. Oh, hey, I'm just on a roll. Now we need some other sounds in this beat. FM was a lot of fun last time. A bass line, yes. It wouldn't really be anything close to an actual Boards of Canada ripoff with that kind of just, you know, maybe like a fifth type of, yeah, we need that saw in there. And we need it way lower. Yeah, this could take me a minute to get this bass sussed out. sounds so bad, so nasally. Easier said than done, honestly. Anyway, we can just actually pull that in and tweak on it, or just fumble about and fail miserably. I'm actually curious what this would sound like in there. A unison thing happening, or just one voice. Pushing around notes like this is story of my life, honestly. I do a lot of it during the day job. It's not my favorite part, but you know, it's the best way to get very specific. I mean, unless you're just a virtuoso on an instrument like the keys, and I am certainly not, as you noticed. Alright, I mean, it's not as good of a ripoff as it could be. Let's try to sync these back up. Yes, there's so many little things we can tweak to make it. Yes, this FM is calling out to me. Tweak me. We need some kind of cheesy, terrible voice sample as a part of the rhythmic structure of the beat. Definitely hear this super massive kind of going nuts. Try a few different options here. Much more of a reverb sounding algorithm. we should get the classic tape, old ass tape effect. Too old. I'm curious what a fifth will sound like here, which I don't think we can do without duplicating this and then adding, let's see, this is kind of just a doubling here, which doesn't sound terrible. There's our fifth, or not exactly a fifth, this would be a fifth. Fourth? Ah, my music theory is so bad, it's horrible. Yeah, super rippy offy. I'm almost, yeah, I'm really starting to feel ashamed now for this. But you know, we're just having fun here, and oftentimes to learn, it is good to copy a genre or a song that you really like. Just, you know, try and even just put the track down in here, like the MP3 or WAV, and then mute it, and then unmute it when you want to like compare what you're working on to it, and try to do a master copy, quote unquote, make a version sound alike. Because I mean, you will learn. That's I did a little bit of that in the very beginning, and even still I will do it sometimes if I want to like try and emulate a beat that I really like, you know, and I never quite get there. It's always like something more original and interesting in my opinion, but the best part is just learning lots of learning techniques and such along the way. Yeah, I can't talk today. That's okay. Let's see. We got vocal sound waves. This is what I was looking for. Our super terrible, cheesy. In fact, I want to go ahead and just like get a filter on that one because I already can hear it in my. So we've used that sample so much. Our signature sound. All right, we've got it mapped to G. Let's get. Let's put probabilities down on that one. Gotta start automating stuff here in a bit just to do ourselves some justice here. Oh no. So bad. First of all, that thing needs to be pitched way down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Less frequent. Wish we could have an attack setting here. We can automate. Let's raise the pitch up, maybe. -7 maybe. I need to start automating this just to make it different every single time. Okay, let's get, okay, looks like that's mapped properly already, so middle mouse button, and go. Hope for the best. In, clean this up a bit. All right, cool. So it's, and I think what I want to do, since we're only having this vocal sample fire off right at these sections, I'm going to add a little bit of a volume automation here, just to those sections. This beat needs something more. I think it's a little too clean. I think we could try also the auto filter and put an envelope on there and just get that playing off the dynamics of our sample. Yeah, this hi-hat, it sounds a little just too... Redux could kind of gritty it up a little bit. It's a little too bright. And the snare's a bit quiet. Almost more of a salt and pepper kind of sound at this point. Let's so if you have a delay after the beat and you put on like 3 and give it just a little bit of the same exact offset percentage, you can get kind of a swingy vibe. And so this is a fun little tool to use. It's really simple, but you can do this live, you know, throw this on like a MIDI. So let's automate that. And definitely we'll make it, put that back in place. Make it a little odd. also mess with the timing, but for now I'm gonna just leave things as they are, and let's I think the snare could use a bit of grit, maybe the pedal effect. And let's try also chorus on here. It's kind of like messes with the pitch of it a little bit as well. Classic Boards of Canada, like cruddy old tape sort of sound. Some tape hiss going in there. Yep. Or the phaser pants on. Sounds like your tape has just been sitting out in the garage for forever. It's just starting to sound really dirty. Better or for worse? So yes, okay. We need to, the snare is just now a little too, there, it needs to be a bit more tight. Now, let's try some pedal. Pitching it up. Okay, all right. Definitely a nice sub section. Let's try a little bit of noise though. This makes it sound a bit like some analog here. Very subby, yes. I do appreciate that. Not feeling that snare. Hard to nail a snare. We could try automating this each. Let's pull it down, except just on the attacks. Which is not sounding too bad to me. Bit of a maybe too much vibrato going on. That's kind of fun. It's almost like a tape wow. And I think at this point, you know, we really wanted to go all the way with some kind of Boards of Canada song, we would have to come up with different parts and just sort of lay those different parts out here. I mean, this is a decent enough skeleton, and you know, working out this sort of like aesthetic, this sort of tonal, timbral aesthetic. You know, this is close enough to a loose, cheap knockoff in my book. I mean, for a sketch, you know, it's decent enough. You know, honestly, sketches aren't supposed to be refined or perfect, or you know, if you get lucky enough to create a sketch that's close to being done, well, you know, pat yourself on the back, but don't get used to it, because honestly, that kind of thing is like pretty rare in my opinion. Yeah, I do like the drum bus, bringing it all into focus. Really just, I mean, beat-oriented music, the beat wants to be on top. Yeah, we could throw some effects in there. Uh-oh. Never know. I can usually tell when that starts to happen right after I drop the Max for Live patch. It's probably going to crash, but otherwise, if it doesn't, if it's not a Max for Live patch, I usually know it'll recover. Like that. Maybe too much drum bus, so let's try like a wet and dry. Oh yeah. Gotta automate that stuff. Now it's just falling apart. Now that I'm hearing this echo is not really doing it for me. Let's pull this down. And let's try our hybrid reverb. Which is kind of like that old ass empty garage. We're in there like spray painting or stenciling. And let's get a fake verb in there. Much more lengthy. Okay, getting close on this one, I'd say. I'm pretty much sick of hearing this melody over. So maybe that's not a good sign, really. I don't know. How would we start this out? You know, this, like classic Boards of Canada, you almost want a counter melody to go with that. Some kind of ba-da-boo, ba-da-boo. Yeah, why not? Sounds like it could be a part of some cheesy public access TV. Once you add this warp and flubber, it, you know, all just brings it back home to the 80s. Just, yeah, I don't know what that last part. Eek. last? Where we need that old vocal sample, vocal cord sample. That's what we need. There's the sound, you know.
All sound waves entering the ear are converted into nerve impulse.
That's kind of fun. Let's automate that. This is just definitely want to only have mono and some glide. Now I'm desperately trying to make this thing work. Now, this is something I don't think we would want to loop. Maybe just, you know, probably only play getting a lo-fi sound. And I see these are now out of sync because this thing is working with melodies is not my forte. It definitely takes a bit of futzing about. As you can see here, we have done a lot of futzing in this sketch, and sometimes that's what it comes down to. Sketches are a bit of fighting.
All sound entering the nerve.
solo ditty, but this would be a breakdown moment piece here. So I think I want to turn the loop off on this. Get rid of all this crap. Cool, okay. You know, it's not 100%. Some vinyl crackles. Always, I think that has been the biggest go-to in these sketches is the classic vinyl crackles, which there's like several of them now at this point. Let's see, audio, sound generators, texture. Yes, let's try. Whoops, not. Yeah. Bit of a fumbling match. All right, crackles. Put these lips. Crackle maker, yeah, there we go. What's this rain stick now? Oh yeah, we gotta get some of that rhythmic happening. Let's get this in a MIDI track, and that way we can just double click, add a free dummy clip, and so we can automate. I'm thinking. And we'll get this going to the beat. Take it. Yes, need a cheesy solo for sure. Good kitty. Okay, cool. Let's try these crackles out for size. Got some serious Mickey Mouse coming through here, which I think I'm gonna just go ahead and tame that. Solo a bit better than the other one anyway. Actually, we'll just swap it out. Let's push play on these all at the same time, and let's. Well, that's not the one. This one originally was making a really loud sound. So I don't know why it was doing that in the beginning, but I guess maybe it doesn't fully matter. So multiple tremolos set at different rates. Give you interesting rhythms. One thing we need to do here is get this wet and dry happening more on the beat. As much as I love a good off beat. slow action on this guy and make it only happen every like 16 to 18 measures. We'll have it play again. So let's unlink that and make that 16, and let's just sit with that for a second. This is our rain stick. It sounds crazy like a rain stick. Always a good time when you can emulate those kinds of sounds just with synthetic sources. Yes. I was wanting to get more of this wet and dry sync to the beat. Honestly, is not terrible in my ears. This is a bit dodgy right in here, and especially right in here. I think we'll just kill that. And we can throw on a reverser type effect. There's that max for live one. Of course, we should save first because I don't know if I'm feeling this Mickey Mouse business here. Let's go ahead and delete. Let's go ahead and delete all this and. Lower, I think. Let's go ahead and keep it lower. And perhaps a vocoder here would help that one out. Let's bring from the operator our main melody. Sounding really old school. Not getting too much out of these crackles for now. We could just probably play with the EQ, pull up the high end a little bit. Probably need some more hiss in this. One thing that comes to mind, the echo effect has a nice built-in hiss. It just uses samples, but they do sound pretty decent. So let's kill the. That is a lot of old crappy equipment being used right there. You could just drop in. That's a fun little transition idea right there. Sort of like drown in noise and then pull out of it. So we can mute this, and so all we get is just the noise coming out of this thing. There we go. We'll just call this just noise. And we can turn this one off. Just noise. Let's see, there's another. There's a good one. That's a good noise, yes. Sometimes you just gotta compliment the noise being just what you need. For the vocoder, it's a little bit more musical, melodic, yeah. that just a bit. Just, you know, pull it slowly over time. Leave it at a little lower. Just holding down the shift key, getting a nice smooth, as I'm dragging this around, a smooth amount of movement. Without the shift key, it's a bit too rough in this case. I kind of want to hear what, without the melody sections, this silly ripoff sounds like. Not bad. Definitely get some movement on this here as well. Analog does produce a really nice fat bass, I have to admit, especially when you double it up here and you have some octave lower sub section there. Not terrible, not too shabby. Okay, let's automate that. More of a standard kind of track we're working with on this one. That's okay. Sometimes, you know, you gotta sort of dial the weirdness. Sometimes you gotta take a break from it. You can't just be super bizarro all the time. Give yourself some perspective. But, you know, I've been having some itchy thoughts of dropping some really gnarly effects on that main effects channel there on the left. Definitely could probably throw some sidechain up on this, and you know, honestly, I don't think sidechain was really an effect that was used much back when towards Canada guys were working on like Geogotti and stuff, I think. But it'd be interesting to hear. I'm almost curious what a let's go ahead and actually just mute that. What a pitch octave shifting MIDI effect is going to sound like, and also what a maybe we need to make this two voices. Doing a whole lot. Should be running through this, but maybe we're not hearing it because yeah, let's turn this thing on and off like every let's do 32 and just we'll have it on. I'll have it off for the half of it, and then on for the other half. I think this sound wave guy, we want some sort of like in your ear. Be a little louder too, probably. Let's save this and now what about some crazy effects on here? You know, you just ruin the whole thing. thing. I like this automatic. You can tell it's threshold, volume sensitive. Make it auto fade in and out. Almost some vocal sounds coming out of there. Before our old-fashioned section of effects. Kind of like the terrible DJ move of just slamming the effects on. Good old corpus that if you throw a pipe and setting and really definitely get some guttural sounds out of that. One thing about the corpus, the wet and dry is almost not like a full wet and dry. Its stage is like before the. You can hear after I slam this off, you still hear some of it come through, which is not always what you want. So I like to just drop it in one of these wet and dry on and offs. So this corpus can really bring out. I mean, it's crazy bass in this case. Probably too much. So anyway, yeah, it's fun to play with effects. They don't always benefit the piece, but kind of like that. Now let's automate that. That one coming on every so often as well. Let's try this at a higher rate, higher tune. Kind of add an accent of this. Makes sense to more or less have a sound like this coming off of one of these tracks here, and at least easier to track down later on. But just sometimes you got to work with the sounds wherever they pop out, and sometimes the best sounds pop out in the middle of nowhere where they probably shouldn't. Cool. Well, we've done a few Boards of Canada-esque ripoffs, homages, whatever you want to call it. Copycats, master copy, derivatives. So many words for that. Appropriations. And, it's a fun time, honestly. I think of all the bands I would want to try and, study or emulate, they're one of the easier ones, the lower hanging fruit, and that's always fun when sketching. It's nice to come to a point, within an hour or two or however long you have allotted for yourself, get to a point in the end where you feel really good about it and you really are excited and inspired. Although, problem with that oftentimes is, you don't want to leave it. You want to keep working on it. And sketching, oftentimes, at least for me, it's just squeezed in between other projects. So I don't oftentimes, have the ability to keep working on it, even though it's, I get to a point like this where I'm like, I'd love to keep going and try to track it out into a song, but I've actually learned that getting away from it makes coming back to it makes so many new ideas and makes so much more sense versus just trying to overwork something in the moment. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you got the energy for it and the time allotted, if you got a whole day to spend to try to just work out a whole song, do it. But I am always amazed at when I come back a few days later to a sketch, how I can just hear all these things that need a fixin'. So anyway, that's where I'm at this point. I'm ready to just call it. This is the breakdown. Yes. I couldn't recommend more over here on the timeline when you're working on your song. Just mess around with this tempo. You can automate it like crazy, do whatever you want. In fact, when you're working on, if you ever end up working on a piece that's sort of classical music sort of sounding for like a movie or a commercial, you're going to want to play with this because no orchestra is going to go at the exact same tempo the whole way through. It's good to kind of add a little variation in there, just add some realism. Anyway, I digress. Maybe that's a whole other set of series of videos is showing, commercial music production with orchestral libraries. Oof, talk about a rabbit hole. So much to know and learn there. And as far as it would be a painful series, at least for me, and something I probably should try to do because honestly, I need to learn, as you've seen from this sketch and other ones, trying to get these melodies correct. Oof, it's like pulling teeth for me, honestly. It doesn't happen very quickly, but I always am able to follow the sounds that I hear. And I think that's a good thing to try to learn to do is hear a sound and somehow figure out ways to pull those sounds out to make those sounds happen, or at least get to a point where you're happy with, through the attempt of trying to extrapolate the ideas from your brain, learn to, spend enough time with it, have enough patience with it so you get the ideas to a point where they sound interesting and good to you. Maybe they weren't exactly like what you originally had in mind, but sometimes it's worth just fighting a little extra long if you have that time to try and get those ideas out to sound a lot like what you originally had. But I found the funnest times I have are when I'm not trying to fight it too much and I'm not trying to control it too much. I usually end up hearing new ideas when in the course of trying to get one idea out, some new ideas will start to spark in my head, and I find that is really riffing off of yourself like that and being open to new ideas is really huge and important. Otherwise, you might just get stuck in a rut of this just doesn't sound like how I wanted to. And oftentimes, at least in the beginning, that's how it's going to be. It's just not going to sound how you want it to, but patience, perseverance, all those things. Most of you already know all this stuff anyway, so I'm just, talking to the wind at this point, but reminding myself through this, and honestly, this sketch series, even though the writing is on the wall for its, you know, time to be ended, I think at 100 sketches. Gosh, I wish I could keep going forever, like Beeple or something, honestly. Doing one of these, he would do one of these a day, and I mean, these are crap compared to the gorgeous imagery that he is able to produce. Man is a insane talent, but hey, 100 sketches, you know, is still pretty nice, I must admit. So it's good to have any goal and try to complete it, honestly. I didn't think I would make it this far, but yeah, so 94, that is our sketch. 94 BPMs. All right, well, I am done wasting everybody's time talking about absolute garbage nonsense. I hope this one was fun. It was fun for me. Makes me want to actually go dust off my old GeoGaddy or Music Has the Right CDs and give those a spin in my old Walkman, or Discman I should say, and yeah, keep it weird, keep it fun, copy some artists you really like. You'll learn a whole ton doing that. Maybe don't release it. I mean, plagiarism is nobody likes a plagiarist, but you know, give master copying a shot. It can be very, very rewarding, very difficult also, but anyway, yes, until next time.